Welcome to the November 10th episode of Global Nashville with Karl Dean. I'm Patrick Ryan, President of the Tennessee World Affairs Council. Tonight we have a great conversation with Mayor Dean and a terrific panel of our neighbors from Nashville's Kurdish community. Tonight, Mayor Dean will be talking about how Nashville came to be home to the largest population of Kurds in America. The population here was large enough that after the fall of Saddam and the Iraqi people voted in their first referendum on a new government, there was actually an Iraqi polling place in Nashville. Why Nashville? That's one of the questions that we'll explore tonight. So sit back and enjoy hearing about Nashville's Kurdish community. Before we start, let me mention that our next episode of Global Nashville with Karl Dean will be December 8th, when he'll be talking with Kate Burke, COO of Alliance Bernstein. We'll be skipping our regular time slot of November 24th, time to prepare for Thanksgiving. Now, allow me to introduce our panel. You can find complete bios on our website, tnwac.org. With us tonight, Nawzad Hawrami is a founding member of the Salahuddin Center, a hub of the Kurdish community. He is now vice president of the board and manages daily operations. Mohammad Kokoy is the head of executive board of the Salahuddin Center of Nashville. Halmat Qazi is the creator and founder of Peshmerga LLC, located in Nashville, Tennessee, where he operates a small business clothing brand, Peshmerga.com. Dilman Yasin is the director of community outreach for Kurdish professionals based in Nashville, and she also works to amplify the voices of community while working as a performance manager in the Nashville mayor's office. Abdulsattar Recany moved to the United States in 2010. He has been working for Metro Nashville Public Schools as a translation specialist in Arabic since 2012. We look forward to including your questions in the conversation, so please begin adding them to the Q&A tab at the bottom of your Zoom screen. And now let me introduce Mayor Karl Dean and hand off the floor to him. Mayor?
Great, thank you, Pat, and thank you to all our guests. This is our largest panel we've had, and I certainly appreciate you taking the time on what is a very warm November evening in Nashville. So we're here to talk about the Kurdish population of Nashville, but I want to get sort of an understanding for all the folks who may see this program. Could you tell us, where is Kurdistan? What is its political status right now? And what are and whatever you think is important for our viewers to understand about the Kurdish population, where it's come from. I don't know who would want to start, either Mohammed or Nawzad.
Mohammed, go start.
What of you guys?
Mohammed, you're on mute.
Yeah, Mohammed, sorry, I was mute. First of all, thank you for having this event. Really, it's great always to keep in touch and follow up on such an event, and at least to remind each other with each other. So Kurdistan is a nation without the people without the nation to have a proper government. Kurdistan is the people are divided on 4 countries: Iran, Turkey, Syria, and Iraq. So each of those portion, they have like a higher number. And Turkey, for example, 17 to 20 million people. In the south of Kurdistan, which is in the Iraq portion, is about 4 to 5 million people, and so in Iran and Syria as well. So, and each of that distribution, each of the group inside that country tried really to get their freedom. But so far till now, we didn't see that. We see the flag, we see the hope that people has it, and we are hoping all that one day, like any other nations on this planet, to have their own place as well and be named as their own country.
Does Kurdistan identify itself? Is it by language, by religion, by history? What's the identity that brings that, it creates a nation?
Really, it's the land and the people and the language and the culture. All those are factors. So the borders are clear which area that Kurds they have inhabited from the past historically. But after the First World War, when they divided the area, British and France in Middle East, uh, I mean, unfortunately, that when they divided, they did not allocate anything for the for the Kurdish people. So it was distributed among all those countries at that time.
Okay. And how did so folks have been leaving Kurdistan, leaving those countries that Kurdistan is contained in, and coming to the United States. How did Nashville become such a magnet for Kurdish immigrants?
So Nashville, I mean, Kurds came to US in different groups, like in 3 to 4 major parcels, let's put it that way. One, it came in the early 80s. Second came in the end of 80s and beginning of 1990s. And the third in the middle of 1990s, about 96, 97, which was the largest group came. And then after that, after the liberation of Iraq in 2003, also some group also came at various families who worked with the military over there. So the first group, they brought them to Nashville. Really, that till now, we don't know why they chose Nashville for them. Was it just by chance or whatever the reason? That small group came in, so it became like a beehive. It attracted the next group, became the support and grantor for the other people who are coming to US, because remember, Kurdish community in US is not huge compared to Europe. I mean, the entire Kurdish community may not exceed 60, 70,000 or 80,000 in that range. It's less than 100,000, but we have millions in Europe. So therefore, the focusing of certain places, whoever comes and then see that the community are in a place, they all be attracted to that place. But we were fortunate that I think what caused people, Kurdish people, to stay in Nashville, that's really the key, because I came first time, I settled in Erie, Pennsylvania. I lived there for 6 months. Then I moved to Detroit, Michigan. I lived there for 3 years. Then my parents were in Erie. They couldn't stay there. They said, son, I could not handle this cold. So in fact, he preferred Nashville on me. I was getting my master in computer in Eastern Michigan University. He said, I'm not coming to you. I go down to Nashville because the community is there. Friends in my age are there. So I said, okay, let me finish my college, then I will move down as well. But that became so attractive, especially for that first generation who came, that the place to become social. And the main thing is people were welcomed here. They liked the people who are dealing with them. So really that was a major point, that people are like the area and want to stay in Nashville. That's one. The second is the weather. So weather of Nashville is really similar to the weather of the area that we live in Kurdistan. Cold in the winter and then hot in the summertime. But for example, Michigan is from September and October, almost it's freezing. It's just will be very, very far from the way that the culture will grow up, at least the first generation. So so that became a point. The third is regarding the community are connected with each other. So it became a model for any family who comes and then to be moved down to this place.
Right. So other Kurds who settled in different parts of the United States may have seen that things were going well in Nashville for Kurds, but also the city itself was growing, strong economy, good weather. People came for all the same reasons everybody else comes here, really. Well, yeah. Let me ask you this: when are most Kurds who come to the United States, are they coming as sort of immigrants, or is the refugees?
They are refugees, so they come as asylum. At least the groups came at the beginning. Of course, after that, people will bring each other based on the family status and so on and so forth. But the main thing is really political. So they have been either from any parts. Now, from the four sides of the Kurdistan, we have from Iran, a group of Kurdish also are here. But compared to the Iraq, the south of Kurdistan, the Iraq part are not many. But the Iraq side is the majority. I could say more than 70%.
And people leave the Kurdistan, leave the countries that Kurdistan is in, because they fear for their safety, or they're concerned about lack of political rights, or they feel there's repression. What motivates them to leave?
So the groups came in 80s and 90s. That was because of the Iraqi regime at that time. I mean, I came in, Mr. Nawzad, and I don't know for the others, but we came in 1997. So we were about 5,000 people. We were working with the nonprofit organizations over there, but Iraq attacked Erbil and they occupied Erbil at that time, regime of Saddam. And in fact, he made a declaration: if anyone who have worked with the nonprofit European or US organizations will be counted as a betrayed. And the betrayed punishment was beheaded. So therefore, at that time, the US had bases in Turkey. They made the announcement, whoever worked with the nonprofit organization, they could pull out to Turkey, and then we could move them to US. So it always was some political behind it. And the one who came in 1990s at the beginning, that was the major, when Iraq, after the Kuwait war, where Iraqi regime attacked to the areas which were Kurdish, like made the uprising. So, and then after that, they made a non-fly zone, but a group of people already moved to Europe and to US.
What's your estimate on the size of the Kurdish population now in Nashville, just in Nashville?
There is no accurate statistics for that to have, but based on all the estimation, we have 17 to 18,000, 19,000 people.
Okay, and is Nashville the largest center of Kurdish population in the United States?
That's correct. So we count Nashville, as we call it, Little Kurdistan. Nashville is the first. Now between Dallas and San Diego, which one second, which one third, is really not clear. But one of them second, and the other one is third, and then Washington D.C. area is the fourth place.
But we're number one.
We are number one. Nashville is number one.
Very good.
Yeah. And it's growing.
That's great. So,
Mayor Dean, let me just add, you were talking about the migration patterns. And I don't know that everyone who's watching understands that there have been waves of repression of Kurdish people. In the 80s, it was nerve gas attacks, the bloody Halabja attack that drove out Kurdish people. And then after the Gulf War, the Kurds in the north and the Shia in the south were brutalized by Saddam Hussein. You may recall the no-fly zones that were installed, and the Turkish prevented the Kurds from leaving in the north. And I don't know, and our friends can correct me, but there's a saying, the Kurds have no friends but the mountains. Is that right?
That's correct. That is correct.
well, let me in Nashville. I think I don't know. There's we've seen signs, Little Kurdistan off Nolensville Road. Is geographically, has the Kurdish population in Nashville mainly located in that area, or are people moved all over the Middle Tennessee region? How has that gone?
Nawzad, if you want to answer
Yeah,
that.
it's most of the population of Kurdish will be in this zip code 37211 from Fairground until El Hickory Boulevard.
Yeah.
And also the second place is in Antioch area. But people started moving toward the Brentwood, due to the education and more services. And also we have a population in the Bellevue area. Yes.
So, okay. And what is it? I'm very familiar with what it's for the viewers and listeners. The Saladin Center. What is the significance of that, and what role does that play with the Kurdish community?
The Saladin Center, exactly, Karl Dean, when the Kurdish in by the end of 1976, they come here. They start to organize themselves. I think that of Halkot is one of the first group they coming to here. They organize themselves, they celebrate in Nowruz, they do marriage, and also they do some protests at that time when it was a hardship for the Kurds, And this movement, when this movement is grows, and when the second wave is come to the after the genocide operation, as like Patrick he said, 1988, there was a huge genocide operation against the Kurds in Iraq part. Most of the people they left, up to million people they left to Iran, to Turkey, and most of them, those who they went to Turkey, they have more chance to come to United States, to the outside of Kurdistan through the United Nations as an asylum. And when those groups they come, the population increased in Nashville, Tennessee. Most of them they come to Nashville, Tennessee, with the called group of 1991. And when the group of Guam, we said in 1996, we arrived here. Just me and Mohammed was among of them, about 5,000 people entire the United States. Some of them they come to here, and with all the community together, we established Salahuddin Center of Nashville. It will be place that the Kurdish community, they know where they go, to provide the religious service, education service, social services, and to collect all Muslim Kurdish community as a Muslim large too, because the services provided for the Muslim community. It became the center. It became one of the reasons that the other Kurdish in the other states to coming to here, because we have a graveyard, we have also we have provide services, we have education service, and we have the summer school, weekend schools, and also we built the huge relation through the Salahuddin Center and through enlarge the Kurdish community with every segment in the entire of Nashville community. And one of the main goal of the center is to provide religious education, social service, and protect the Kurdish language and Kurdish culture, Kurdish heritage. As you see, we had a Kurdish Friday service will be in Kurdish language, service. That will be maintain the Kurdish language among the community. We have the Sunday school, we have weekend school, and also we work with the education education department of education and the Metropolis School to recognize the Kurdish language as one of the foreign language to be taught in the high schools. And we build a good relationship with the metro government, all the departments, and with the education systems, universities, and so Salahuddin Center, it helps Kurdish community to be more organized. The project that the first Kurds they work on it, they start to complete it of that, and still we work on it. It's not completed done. It's not yet done. We have a lot of works all together. We need to work on it.
So what is the biggest challenge that someone who comes to Nashville from Kurdistan as a refugee, what is the greatest challenge that an individual or their family faces when they arrive here? Is there sufficient support from the community, whether the community is defined as Nashville at large or the Kurdish population that already exists here? What challenges do people face when they first arrive in Nashville?
When we have family arrive in here, not just the community, the Salahuddin Center and some other organization who they're working with for Kurdish community, all they respond to them, and we work for them, to settle, to find a job, to finding apartment, to stand up on their feet. But the main challenge that they have, as every refugees, every immigrant who they come here, they have language challenges, they have different cultural challenges, and when they be out of country, the life is different. They come from different system to other systems. So it needs a couple of years until to having good knowledge, and how to living in the American society.
How have, in general, going over the past 20, 30 years of people arriving here, how has Nashville, the people of Nashville, the government, wherever, treated the Kurds?
The government, they treat well. That's one of the reasons the Kurds, they're coming here. One of the reasons the Kurds from other states, they come to here. In the beginning, from the government, I remember the Bob Clement, when we first come to Nashville on 1997, I arrived March 13, 1997, the Kurdish community, they held the picnic for us. And we went to that. Bob Clement at that time, I think he was a
Congressman.
Congressman, and he come to there. He addressed, he gave the speech. He addressed about the life and welcome, and they have good relation, and this relation grows up until exactly when I can say the time of when you have been the mayor in the office. The mayor office is opened its door exactly after attending my city academies. One of my attendees, and also joined with the Mayor New American Advisory Council. From there, we had a meeting with every leaders of the metro government departments, DA, police department, schools, and the Metro Election Commission, Human Relations Commission, Metro Arts. So through there, we built a good relation, especially with the Metro Human Relations Commission and Metro Election Commission. We did voting registration, encourage the community to participate in the election, to political processes, activities, and also invite nominees to come to the center to know them, to introduce them, to choose the right person during the election. And exactly, the government, they have been welcome, and especially in Nashville, in late when you take the office, and I see that it became, not just only for the Kurdish community, for other communities. It became a welcome city, one of them famous welcome city in the United States.
That's great. That is a great thing to hear. It's a great city, and I'm glad that it has gone well. Let me switch for a second to education. So, I mean, clearly language is an issue, and how has public schools and education handled the influx of folks from Kurdistan here in Nashville?
So first of all, Mayor Karl Dean, I would like to thank you so much for recruiting Todd Dixon to open Valor Collegiate Academies for our families in Southeast Nashville. Thank you so much. Yeah, so Valor is one of the blessings, Nashville has. We, the Kurdish community, are especially grateful because Valor Collegiate has the most Kurdish students of any school in Nashville. 15 to 20% of Valor population is Kurdish. And to start with, let me give you like a bigger picture of Metro Nashville Public Schools, since we are talking about the global Nashville. So our MNPS families speak 131 languages. MNPS has 57 school-based translators, and they cover 22 languages. We have 8 language translation specialists, and Kurdish community is the third biggest in Nashville, Metro Nashville. We have more than 1,100 Kurdish students attending Metro schools. The Office of the English Learners has been doing a good job, like in providing EL services for the new students, whether Kurds or other languages. And Metro Schools also has been a good partner with the Kurdish community. There are so many programs that MMPS offer and reflect Kurdish community. Metro Nashville has been offering a lot of events organized at Salahuddin Center of Nashville. Metro Schools recently organized 2 major Kurdish culture exchange and celebration events in 2018 and 19 in the central office of Metro Schools, and many other cultural events for MMPS students and staff. The Office of English Learners opened 2 7-week Kurdish language courses for English learners, teachers. Also, last year, we were in the middle of adding Kurdish language as an elective course in some of our high school in Nashville.
That's impressive. That's impressive. Thank you for all that you're doing to make folks feel more at home here. Let's move over to the area of business and sort of opportunities for professionals. I think we have 2 panelists who sort of work in this area. I don't know if one, you could talk about what other programs there are for perhaps higher education information, also jobs. Entrepreneurship, I think, is a huge part of what we've seen in the Kurdish community. But let me open up that subject.
You want to start, Dilman, or would you?
Yeah, I can start. Thank you, Mayor Karl Dean, for being a part of this. And I'm honored to be amongst these other folks who have such great knowledge and insight on our community. The organization that I work with is called Kurdish Professionals. And what we do is we help to empower our youth by way of academic advancements and career opportunities, all while trying to help our community. So some of the initiatives that we've started is having high school chapters at Overton, as well as Hume Fogg, where we have some of our members go in. We've done resume workshops. We've also done college readiness programs for the students to kind of help them get better acclimated to going to college. A lot of them are first generation college students like myself. We noticed that there was a large gap in our community. A lot of our parents didn't go to college here. They, don't understand the fundamentals of higher education, SATs, FAFSA applications, things like that. And so we helped fill that gap in providing resources and connecting them to the resources that they need. Another thing that we've also worked on is our mentorship program. This is a place on our website where students and young professionals all throughout the US, especially in Nashville, but all throughout the US, can provide their information, and we're able to connect them with other young Kurdish professionals who are in the same field, and they can kind of gain some insight within that field. As far as the business aspect, late last year, our organization attempted to start a Kurdish Chamber of Commerce. We noticed that we have a really large population of Kurdish businesses and young entrepreneurs who are really ready to get their start in the entrepreneurial field. However, they may not have the resources or the insight to get started. So we thought that having a Chamber of Commerce would really help. We had a lot of interest. However, COVID started and things kind of backtracked. So we haven't really been able to get that up and running, but we're hopeful that with the right resources and connections, we're able to get that started and really help bring more of our community to the table when it comes to Nashville businesses.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, just to piggyback
Yep.
off of that. I mean, she laid it out there for you. I'm just one of the guys that's kind of, I don't have a true brick and mortar. There are a number of businesses that we have, markets and restaurants and things of that nature, especially in the South Nashville region. I took advantage of using social media and doing an online business, which I started about 5 years ago. So now there are more my fellow Kurds who are starting up businesses, and we want to basically just branch out and see what can we do, how can we work with Nashville in trying to grow, because for us, we just don't want to limit ourselves to just the Kurdish community. We want to branch out to everyone here in Nashville.
Yes, and you know, we're planning on doing a whole show on business and economic development. But let me ask about this now, the real important questions. If you were to go into the Kurdish community here in Nashville, whether Owensville Road area or wherever you recommend, what food should we be seeking and what restaurants should we be going to? Any recommendations?
You know, you
agnostic about
can't,
that.
yeah, you can't go wrong with any of them, to be completely honest. They all offer really great services and really great food at really good price points, and really great customer service too. I think with any restaurant or market that you go into that's Kurdish owned, you get that sense of hospitality, and that sense of just a really warm welcome from our community. As Halmat mentioned, House of Kebab is a really great location. They actually moved to a bigger place where they can accommodate more. One of my favorites is Edisa, which is also near the South Hadin Center. I'm sure others have other recommendations as well.
And what is the specialty? What is the type of food that, if you ever had Kurdish food before, what do you have to order?
So,
The
I
lamb
think,
meat.
yeah, lamb is a very traditional food. Some of the older like folk foods that we tend to eat at home are not predominantly served at a lot of these restaurants, but your traditional staples like lentil soup, rice, lamb, kebabs, chicken skewers, those types of things are very common among Kurdish households. And those, you can't really go wrong with any of those. And tea, you can't forget tea.
Tea.
Yeah.
Is there a particular sport in Nashville that the Kurdish community identifies with, or are you all just embracing everything we have to offer here? Do you?
Yeah, soccer is a big one.
Soccer
Yeah.
soccer is actually a big sport in Kurdistan.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That comes with you.
Yes.
And so you're excited about the soccer team?
Yeah, I think the majority of the youth are very involved in soccer. There's a few leagues, minor leagues. Well, they're not minor leagues, but they're organized leagues of soccer teams that have been playing for years and years. And you know, they're doing really great, getting the kids in organized sports and giving them something to do and look forward to.
So the center, Mr. Mayor, you have been in that place, which I think you gave a speech, the graveyard, the area which we have a soccer field as well. So we made it. We have like 3 soccer fields, different sizes of the groups. So through Salahuddin Center, we had certain like youth groups. We call them Kurdish Achievers. And their age groups are like from the very young and then to the like from 4 to like 10, from 10 to 15 and 15 and above, so on and so forth. So each and they enter to the tournament with the non-Kurdish people as well, especially during the spring season. And we utilize that fields. And also there is one field near to Tusculum, what they call it, the light, the church. There is a church on Tusculum and Blue Hole. So and the soccer is really the unique sport that the Kurdish people they play. And on top of that, the project which is in the process, the youth center, we are planning in that land which we have, and that will be indoor soccer. So that will be 2 major fields inside that indoor soccer will be, so that The main thing is regarding the youth, to pay attention to the youth. If the youth cannot do other sports, and mainly will be soccer, so it's really important to fulfill the needs of those youth generation who comes after, especially.
Yeah. Can you, is it, for those who came to the United States and Nashville as refugees, can you go back and visit? Can you go to Kurdistan and visit family or visit your former homes?
Yes.
I've been back 9 times.
Yeah.
So that question. So, yes, I mean, yes and no. If you come under like, you know, a refugee program, then if you go back before you get your like, you know, green card, it might be like difficult to come back if it
Right.
is before then. And also, you know, I remember, like, you know, you asked the question, are like.
I guess I'm asking more from, I understand the immigration implications. If say, if you come in as a refugee, then you immediately go back, then that's an issue. But
Yes.
are you safe going back? And will you be safe in whatever part of Kurdistan you're in? Would you be safe?
So it depends on where did you come from. So for example, I myself, I came from Mosul. It's a city in North Iraq.
We have heard a lot about Mosul.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when I went back to visit family, it was in 2012, like almost after, you know, 1 year, 7 months after I first came to Nashville. And when I went there, I didn't go to Mosul. I went to Kurdistan region where, you know, my other family members were. So I was not able to go back to Mosul because of the, you know, security situation over there. Again, you know, after 2003, not only refugees came to, Kurdish refugees came to America, but also immigrants as well, because there was like a special immigrant visa program for those Iraqis, including Kurds, who worked for the US government for more than 1 year.
Right.
So like a good number of Kurds who came after 2005 to Nashville or to America, they are immigrants, not refugees.
Okay. Well, we have a couple questions here from folks who have been listening or watching. One from Becky Sharp. I think part of this has been answered, but let me just ask the question. What are some of the needs of Kurdish people who are new to Nashville with which we can help, which the larger Nashville community could be helpful? Is there anything in particular that you would look to the nonprofit or to the government for help? Is there anything that's been sort of left out or missing?
I mean, currently the community is large. I mean, thank God, the Nashville is also an area that you have a lot of job opportunities, and Mr. Nawzad explained that part where the community tries, especially whoever comes in, he tries to. There is some family members around, so joining those family members and settling with them. But we will be really happy if we could get the any group want to participate and support to give their contact, their name and numbers to Salahuddin and what area they could help. So every person or organization, so that if we need we have immediate need, then we could reach out to those people. That would be really helpful.
Okay, and here's another question. This is much more specific. Is it correct that there are two main dialects of the Kurdish language? If so, which is more prominent among Kurds in Middle Tennessee?
You have, yes, that's correct. So you have really multiple, but the only two major. We have Sorani and Badini, and there is Hawrami as well. If you go further into depth, but Hawrami kind of linked with the Sorani, but the majority is Badini in Nashville, from the population-wise.
Okay.
And also, Mayor Karl Dean, also we have recently like more Kurdish who speak the Kurmanji language, the Kurmanji dialect, who came from Syria and Turkey. So we have, you know, some of these families recently in Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah, but the majority, they speak Badini in Middle Tennessee.
And Pat, do you have some questions you want to
Pose
pose?
one more question from David Durham. He asked of Dilman, how is your organization funded? And your organization is a self-proprietor business, right? It's not a nonprofit. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me, Halmat. Oh,
Was that to me or to Halmat?
yes, it's to Dilman. I apologize.
Yeah, the Kurdish Professionals is a nonprofit. The ones that are within leadership and our members, we don't get paid. So unfortunately, we are not at the point to where we have a steady income coming in to where we can leave our day jobs. We do this all on volunteer work. The money that we've had to use towards events, sponsorships, projects, things like that, has really all been funded by our community. We've been able to work with businesses such as Peshmerga and others, local Kurdish businesses and some non-Kurdish businesses, to help support a lot of the initiatives that we've worked on. And so I think because of the work that we're doing and the support that we get, people see that we are trying to make an impact. And so their faith in us has helped us do a lot of the projects that we've done.
And one question from Ambassador Charles Bowers. What are the problems the Kurdish community has with becoming Americans and assimilating to American culture, while at the same time keeping the Kurdish culture and language alive? I think we talked a little bit about language, but are there any substantial problems to becoming assimilated into the larger community?
For the newcomers, yes, it takes time to that transition till, especially to get used to the culture of that place that you are living in, especially if you have children. And so the children, when they go to school, when they come home, they're going to be between two separate cultures. One culture to adapt where they live with the other students and teachers and that's American culture. And then the culture when they come home, that the parents, especially if they are new, they are really as if their body here, their mindset is still back home. And so that transition will take time to at least 5-6 years to become really feel comfortable 100%.
A process that every group that has come to the United States has gone through, where the kids.
Correct. That's
yeah.
normal, yeah.
Or other parts of the United States.
Is what?
Or from other parts of the United States coming to Nashville.
Well, let me. I've really enjoyed this. This is you've been a great group, and I know we want to delve into some of these issues more in a future program. Nawzad, it's great to see you. We've known each other for a long time, and I know just my experience working for Nashville as law director and as mayor, Kurdish population has been a great thing for Nashville. When I think about Nashville and how Nashville has become more diverse, how it's become more interesting, how I think it's become stronger, and how you bring in talent, and you're all been a huge part of that. So I'm just thankful we were able to do this tonight. And please stay in touch with the World Affairs Council. We want your support, your help, and we're interested in your issues. And Pat, I'll let you sign off for us.
Well, great. Go ahead, Nawzad.
Yeah, just one other thing, thanks, Karl Dean, for your comments, and exactly, again, as when I meet with Patrick, I talk about the mayor office and the role and the impact of the mayor office to helping the other communities they are feeling Nashville is a home. They are feeling Nashville is a good place to grow. They are feeling Nashville they are good places for their kids, and not just only because of businesses, because of weathers. And another thing we have to mention, because of the religious situation of Nashville. One of the things, we are toward the family, we are conservative. We like tight family, and having good, keeping the good moral of the family. And Nashville, one of the major cities where there are more religious people and more, I can say there is more churches here. And when we established the center, and when it's 1970, when they established the Islamic Center of Nashville, 1998, when we established Salahuddin, we welcomed with the churches. We have good cooperation with them. That's the make us Nashville to great places, and we feel this is our home. And also besides that, we work with other organizations. We work with other communities. Like we had a partner with the Connection Americas with a good project called Invention of Knowledgeville Road, working on the beautification of Knowledgeville Road, keeping the businesses, public safety, like building more pedestrian, building more traffic lights, and also we had good relation with the Metro Arts. They help us to draw the mural, the Kurdish mural. You know, if they come, you know, about 200 feet until 20 feet, you know, 200 by 20 feet. That's a good mural talking about the history and the life of the Kurds, you know, and the sign of small Kurdistan by the close to the Salahuddin Center. And with these all, you know, it helps us, it builds the hope inside the Kurds that, and also we said we cannot clap with the one hand. We need 200 to clap. And also the Kurdish community, they were active. We come, as Mohammed, he explained, most of them, we are asylum, and we are legal. We don't have any illegal person come to the United States. And when they come there, when we arrive here, when they come here, we start to build. Now, from the education point of view, we are very good. We have many PhDs, we have many PhD, graduate students, we have undergraduate students. On 2005, when I went to the Middle Tennessee State University, there was a seminar about the genocide of Kurds. Just me and 3 other students attend the seminars because there was very few students. Now, in the middle MTSU. Now, if you go to the MTSU, we had more than 100 students there. And they also established the businesses, you know. And by the way, when they talk about the good food, also we have a fast food called the Fatmos, most of the Fatmos, the big sandwich, you know, that are managed by the Kurds. And established businesses. We have some grocery stores close to the Salahuddin Center. During the pandemic, they did great service for the community at large, not just for the Kurdish community. They went to bring the foods, and their door was open at the time. You know, some other doors were closed. Some of the places were closed. So exactly, the Kurdish, they have been active in the same time, but the more encourage the Kurdish, you know, welcome city to the government side, to the people side, and beside that, the Kurdish, they are organized among themselves too.
Well, that's
of
terrific.
the things that I want to mention again, I hope very, very soon you will hear about the building sister city between the Nashville and Arby. This is the project that I think on 2016, when I meet some in the mayor office, we talk about, and I think now those barriers who there was among in front of that project, I think has been removed, and very soon you will hear about that project soon.
Okay, that's great. Nawzad, we will work to have everyone back to talk about business and some other aspects of the Kurdish community in Nashville. Let me mention that on February 9th, Madam Bayan Sami Abdul Rahman, who is the official Kurdish regional government representative to the United States, will be here on the Tennessee World Affairs Council webinar program. So for those who are interested more in Kurdistan, looking more at the situation in Kurdistan and Iraq and the relationship with the United States, put that on your calendar, February 9th. 7 p.m. here at the World Affairs Council. Mayor Dean, a terrific program. Thank you for hosting, and thank you to our guests, Mohammad, Nawzad, Dilman, Halmat, Abdulsattar. It was great to have you, and we look forward to having you back. thanks for a great evening, everyone. Please be safe and check our calendar on the tnwac.org website for more programs coming up. That's it for tonight. Thank you very much.
Good night,
Thank you
all.
so much.
Thank you for having. Thank you. Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you so much.